I'm just going to say nope, because they lied. Any company that lies to you, you send that crap back and you find another company that is trustworthy, because that just means if something else is going to happen, they're not going to honor and not going to be there for you for support. Okay, are you wanting to stream or record or podcast here in 2026? So what do you use for a camera? Do you use an action camera? Get some cheap cameras? You got an old cell phone? Or how about a camera like what you're seeing me on right now? Which one do you need to start streaming or podcasting or recording in 2026? Okay, as I was saying, you can use any of these right here for a webcam, whether you're streaming, recording, or podcasting. Maybe you have an old phone, or maybe you want to look on, Facebook Marketplace or somewhere used and get you a used cell phone and use it as a camera. That is a good option, 100%. This is a really, really nice option. I use this one actually for my overhead view for a lot of the products that I review. Maybe you want to get you an action camera. That way you can use it as a webcam, or while you're out and about doing whatever you want, vlogging or whatever else there is. Then you have so many different webcams that you can literally sit here and choose from. I'm going to go through here and we're going to see what the differences is between these, and if a cheap camera can actually do just as good as something like an old cell phone or an Action 5 camera for your webcam. So right now you are seeing me on the Sony ZV-E10. This is a mirrorless camera with so many features to it. This one right here, base price today is I think around $800 for what you're seeing me on right now. When I got mine, it was a little over $1,000, but this isn't just for a webcam. I can use it as a webcam as you're seeing me right now, but this is actually a video recorder, basically a camcorder. It's a camera. It does multiple things, interchangeable lenses, so on and so on. I just wanted something really nice for while I'm out and about with the family and everything else, and it works just as good as a webcam. So then right now you're seeing me on the Samsung S22 Ultra. This is of course an older phone, and it's going to give me really, really good image quality. And right now you're seeing me on the Action 5 Pro by DJI. This is what you're going to get if you have an action camera. So now one of the caveats of using like the Sony ZV-E10, the cell phone, or even the action camera is you're going to need a capture card. And depending on what you're going for, if you're trying to go for that 4K image, you're going to be spending a good price on a capture card. So like me, my capture card's $120. And then I have another $100 one because I have two capture cards, one for my overhead camera and one for the camera that you're seeing me on right now. So the only other option from that, without having to have all that, is webcams. Webcams, you don't need capture cards. Everything's already built into these. So I'm going to kind of do a semi unboxing of these, but I'm actually just going to be testing these out, and then I'll have links to everything in the description down below, depending on which one you want to buy, if you want to buy it. They will be affiliate links, but again, this is a non-sponsored video. This is sponsored by my wife and myself. This is our money. This is something that I wanted to put out there because there's a lot of people who, they know that I do YouTube videos and they're like, okay, hey, what's the best thing to do? I have my own opinions, which I'll give here at the end of the video. So if you want to know what my opinion is, depending on what we see, I haven't even opened these up yet. These are still in the plastic wraps. They just came in over this last week, and getting ready for this video here because I know a lot of people are wanting to either TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, and a lot of people want a good camera. And of course, a lot of people use their cell phone, right? That's for their live streaming. But what if you don't want to go live all the time and you just want to do a talking head or do something else, a podcast? You're stationary, so you're going to need a really nice camera to be stationary. So the first two I'm going to get to are these right here. They look identical. Everything on the box looks identical. Besides this box right here says tripod at the bottom, and then the sticker on the back, one says 1080 and one says 2K. So let's go ahead and get these right here. We're going to start with the 1080p one first. So in the box, you get a little bit of USB-A to USB-C right here, a little adapter. You get a little bitty tripod right here, and then we get the webcam itself. So again, you can put this on top of your monitor where it sits there. You have the tripod. You can put it on the tripod on the bottom and have it sitting up wherever you need it to sit up. So let me go ahead and get this plugged up. Okay, so the first thing first is it says that it's only 1080p, but it is registering in there 14:4, and here's the 14:4 right here, which is 2K. The light exposure is out. Again, we can adjust these the image quality a little bit as well, but I also have all my studio lights on. So Alexa, turn off studio. Okay, so that gave me a little bit better. You still have better image, but we still have a lot of light coming from the window right here to my left. Alexa, turn on studio. So again, we have it in here, and like I said, you can sit here and you can adjust certain things on here. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit the exposure ourselves. That's the only thing I'm going to actually mess with is the exposure. We're going to get that exposure. So right here, so there we go. So that's just messing with just the exposure only, nothing else. And that actually comes pretty good. I just don't like that it's cropped it in. In OBS, I do have it at full screen mode where it's supposed to fill up the whole box. So again, it might come across different whenever I put this all together in DaVinci Resolve. But yeah, this 100%, this right here will work for a lot of people. Again, my studio lights are on, my window's open. Alexa, turn off studio. So now I'm underexposed, and of course my images are in here. Alexa, turn on studio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add in my ZV-E10. So this is my normal camera every day. Go ahead and bring this in here. And if you see, you can still see if you look at the top right of the screen, you see my little light back here from the Sony ZV-E10. See, I turned that. And again, here they are right here. So again, it's not a bad image compared to my ZV-E10. But now look at my face. You know, now I can come in here and I can go to saturation and get a little bit more saturated and bring those colors up just a little bit. Again, you can fine tune some of these cheap webcams. And again, I will get to the price at the end. But this one out here is not a bad image whatsoever. Again, I'm comparing it to a $1,000 camera sitting here in front of me. And actually that was just the camera. My lens itself was like $400. So I literally have $1,400, $1,500 right now for my camera setup that I use to do a lot of my unboxing. There's that blue hue through it. If you notice back here, if you look at this whiteness of the crown molding behind me, see, it turns it more of a blue color. So again, not bad. You can adjust a lot of settings. So let's go ahead and go to the next one. Like I said, the next one we're going to do is it's from the same company, same brand. This one here though says 2K on it. So I want to see if it's going to stretch or not. This one here is supposed to be focused on 1080. Even on the camera itself, it says 1080p. So let's go ahead and drop it down to 1080. I know it's going to zoom in on my face. So yeah, see, now it's zoomed in. If you notice, now it stretched the screen as well. So again, this right here is the motion clarity is really good on it. I do like the motion clarity. A lot of cameras like this actually stutter a little bit with motion clarity, and I'm not getting a lot of stuttering through the motion clarity whatsoever. It does go up to 30 frames per second. They do advertise this as 1080p camera, so let's go ahead and go over to their 2K one right here and see how it looks. Okay, so same thing here. This is their 2K version right here. Again, I can see the difference in the color. And there again, I'm not going to keep turning my studios off and on, but this is what we get right here. But we can actually, again, let's go to filter. No, let's go to properties. And then we're going to go ahead and adjust that exposure again. It's on auto exposure, and if we take auto exposure off, then we can actually mess with our own. And of course, we can tame this in to where we need it. A little darker right here. But then we can go over here and we can either increase the brightness just a little bit. I'm going to be honest, that 1080p one, I would have to literally probably really and truly, I'd have to mess a lot with the settings on this one right here. But I do have my stretch view now. I'm not cropped in to like a 4.3. I'm actually at a full, 16 by 9 instead of a 14 by 3. Turn that white balance on and off right here. Let's turn that off and we can mess with our white balance. Well, that gives me a little bit more right there. Yeah, see, we can take that white balance and I can get a little bit more color in there. So again, the motion clarity on it is pretty good. So I'm liking that motion clarity. Again, you're just going to play around with some of these settings. It's no different than me, even with my big camera right here. Let's go ahead and go back to here. So on here, I set all those settings up within the camera itself, and I try not to mess with nothing in OBS. And that's what gives me my best view for the camera. Again though, the camera's completely different for the ZV-E10 or any type of your alpha cameras like what I'm using right now, whether it was Canon, Nikon, or whatever else. I'm trying to figure out what's the best that would be for a lot of people. You know, again, I get to adjust how zoomed in it is to my face, and depending on the lens that I use with a ZV-E10, as you notice, I go here and now I got a view right here because I'm at, I think, I got a fluctuating lens on mine, so I think I'm at 12 or 13 field of view on my lens right now. So I just like that wider angle lens. That way it's not all up in my nose, and when I'm talking, you're not just focused on my nose over here, you know, my big old knocker over here of a nose. But yeah, no, all in all, this one right here, again, another good candidate. You just have to play around with some of the settings. I still believe, though, the other one actually looked a little bit better, being a 1080p, but with that 2K being in there. The only thing I don't like is the crop. So if we can figure out, or if you could figure out or know somewhere else about the crop, then so far that one's better. But again, this one here would probably be a lot better if you just went through some of the settings. So the next one up on the list is that AOC that's still in the cellophane over here. Let's go ahead and get that one connected. Okay, so for the AOC, we get a USB-C to USB-A adapter and a pretty thick manual. It should be probably multiple languages in here. Yeah, it's multiple languages. Look how thick that thing is. We get a lot wider field of view here. We get a big field of view over here. Again, the colors ain't too bad. Just right off the bat, let's go ahead and come in here. Let's go to configure video and let's go to that exposure. Let's go ahead and take that exposure off. Wow, look at that difference. That's just one button right there. Click that exposure button. And I mean, that right there is actually really nice. I think it does need a little bit of saturation. I look too white. I'm not this white. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of redness to it. And I mean, we got really good field of view. I mean, this is a really, really nice looking camera right here. Let's go ahead and go over to my webcam. So here's the webcam. Look how much wider field of view that is, even from my big camera. Now I can take my big camera though and make it actually wider. Now this is the widest I have on my Sony ZV-E10 on this one right here, and I believe this here is 11 millimeter right here. I think that's what it is, 11 to 18. So let's go back to the webcam. So yeah. So again, depending on where you have your setup at, again, this is a Sony ZV-E10. This is the AOC 4K webcam. It does register everything as 4K, but right now it is actually not registering. It's saying that it's 1080p right now. So it's showing that it's 1080p, so let's go in here and see if we can actually get this to 4K. Okay, now it's sucked in that field of view, and now it's showing that it is full 4K. So 1080p actually looked pretty good too right there. The motion clarity, it's 30 frames per second, so the motion clarity is really, really good. Anything above 24 frames is where ideally where you want to be at. Me, I like to be at 60 frames. That's just me. I like to do everything in 60. That way, if I want to slow something down. But yeah, all in all, I mean, this one right here, I might actually keep this one. I was thinking about sending them all back, you know? Amazon don't like me. But yeah, no. 100%. I mean, and there again, I only hit the exposure button on this one right here. So yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Again, we'll get to the prices here in a little bit. But yeah, this is the AOC AC310 is what this one right here is. Look at that. I don't even have to worry about my camera. My ZV-E10, check this out. So the ZV-E10, let's go back to the ZV-E10. If I do this right here, it has to get that zoom in. It blurs out the background. Now, don't get me wrong. You're not going to get no blurry background with a webcam like you will. Look at that. I mean, I can come all the way up on that. That's actually really, really good. And then if we kind of suck up on this one right here, we can see everything on here. As you notice, it is sealed in the box still. Again, everything here I haven't even tested. I'm testing it right here, unscripted, just for you all out here, you know. But this one here is supposed to be a 4K one, so we're going to go to this one next. But yeah, all in all, this is a big check plus right here on this camera right here. I really do like this, especially for the price. Okay, let's see everything that we get in the box in here. So this one right here, just the USB. I did like the thing about the other ones. The other ones come with that USB-A to USB-C. I do like that. So, different packaging. It's kind of like in a Ziploc bag. That's kind of crazy. But there we go right there. It says HD full on it, but yet the box says 4K. So that kind of throws me off because, I mean, it is showing a 4K camera. Saying that it is 4K. Let's make sure. It says 4K webcam with built-in microphone. The other ones have, this is also going to be the first one. The other ones have security over the lens itself. the lens looks like you can move it. Oh no. All right, let's get it hooked up and see what happens. Okay, so for this one here, I'm actually going to have to sit back just a little bit. So when I was able to turn where the camera is, that's actually your focus on that one there. The box is this company lied. So I'm actually going to give it a huge negative, a huge down. So for one, this thing is like directly in your face. And this thing is, I'm talking about 2 arms, about 3 foot away from me right now is literally how far this camera is, but yet it's way up in my face. The image quality itself isn't too bad, but being in my face and being lying to me, saying, or lying to us, out there on Amazon, saying that this thing is 4K, this isn't 4K. So there's nowhere in the settings that I have gone through. I can do 720p right here, and then 1080. That's all I have right here, and that to me is that's horrible. You can't lie to people and expect everything to be there. Now this one here, I have not messed with none of the exposure so far. So let me go ahead and go to configure the video, and let's go to exposure. Let me go ahead and turn it off. So now I can play with the exposure if I want. But auto exposure actually works really well on this camera. I will give them that as far as on the camera. But I'm just going to say nope, because they lied. Any company that lies to you, you send that crap back and you find another company that is trustworthy, because that just means if something else is going to happen, they're not going to honor and not going to be there for you for support. Okay, so all in all, what is my pick so far? Well, number 1 pick is going to be this one right here. That last one I showed you, we're throwing that one away. That one's out the door. That's 100% out the door. All right, since we threw that one out the door, like I said, I'm going to show it here for the price wise. So that's what we're going to do real quick, is I'm going to get into the prices, and then I'm going to give you my full 100% what I believe should be done, or my opinion on what you should do for a webcam. Okay, so here's that one that we're not going to do. Like I said, here it is. I'm recording this right now on New Year's Eve, so y'all will be watching this on New Year's or in 2026. But they're saying that this is 4K. Look at this right here, video capture resolution, 4K right here. This is not 4K. This is, again, look at the 3.5 star review on here. I was just going through. Some people said that it was good. I can translate that to English, but this right here, this is literally a trash camera. Do not buy this one whatsoever. But you come in here to specifications, it even says that it is 14:4. It is not. You can only get 1080p. So frame rate 30 frames per second. I can see that. But yeah, no, this one right here is 100% complete trash. And look, even here, HD 1080p camera, but yet they're showing 2K here. It doesn't even do that. I mean, they're lying all across even on their website. It's telling you 4K here, but here says 2K, but yet it only gives you 1080. Okay, so unfortunately, the next one up, which is one of the ones that look identical, you can't even find it no more. It says currently unavailable, and there's nothing here. And what is that? Trust UI, however you say that right there. This was it. This is going to be for that 1080, or it's going to be that 2K camera that looks identical. That would be one of these right here, which is going to be the 2K one right here, I believe, is that one right there that's not showing up no more. So obviously that one's going to be out the door as well, since we cannot even purchase it again. So let's go ahead and go to the next one, which is going to be this one right here, which is the one that says that it is 1080p, which we do know was a decent camera for sure. And this is the one that actually supported 14:4, which is your 2K, but it was cropped at 2K. And check it out. I mean, $17 right now, 5% off. So this is $20 with tax. It does show 1080p. Everything here that they have on here is correct. They don't say that it supports 14:4 2K, but it does support it. It is popping up in my OBS as 14:4, which is cropped. So again, if you're using this just for a little head at the bottom of your screen or something, or just a small head up at the top while you're gaming or whatever else, this would be a really good choice. But again, as far as these 4 webcams right here, the AOC to me was the best one that I seen. 99% field of view right here, the FOV, plug and play. Everything was 100% correct to this. If you notice, all these I ordered on the 18th, getting ready, because again, everyone's wanting to record, or somebody's doing something recording, whether it's video game, Skyping, working from home still. Effective video resolution 1080p, but obviously we do know video resolution is 4K. Video capture format 1080p, but I clearly got 4K all the way through my testing with this one right here. Okay, there's the aperture right there. So 2.8, which is actually really, really good. I would love to see that around 1.7. So this is how much light is allowed into your lens, which gives you a little bit more control over your exposure. But there again, a lot of people don't get technical like I do. So again, very, very nice, good looking design. And this is what I was talking about. These do have the security privacy screen, so whenever you're not recording, put that over in case somebody hacked you, or you were still left in a Zoom meeting or something and you didn't realize it. No one can see everything else that is going on your screen. So I will go ahead and leave links to all 3 of these. Again, this one here, I think that you should not order whatsoever because they completely lied. You only get 1080p. So it is not a 4K webcam. This one here, again, will be my #1 recommendation out of these, but I do have a different recommendation that is coming up, so stay tuned for that. As far as the AOC, I think the AOC out of these cheap ones right here would be the winner for me. The winner would be the AOC. If I'd keep any of them, this would be probably the one that I keep. Is if you have an old cell phone, or if you go look at on eBay or on Facebook Marketplace, wherever you go and search for some used items, find you an old cell phone, 100%. If you're just wanting it for webcam, just webcam. Now, the DJI now, there was going to be a caveat, because one of the things that DJI says is you cannot use this but 1080p whenever you're using it as a webcam. But I guess with one of the last updates, I was actually able to stream in at 4K. But again, I'm also going through a 4K capture card. I'm going through, for this one here, I was going through the Elgato capture card. So it actually brought in 4K image through the Elgato, and whenever I plugged it up to the Action 5 here, it did actually bring in and tell me that I was 4K as well as inside OBS. So if you have an action camera laying around and you're doing other stuff as well, this right here would be an overall good pick. But again, if you're just wanting to go buy a webcam and you're never going to use the action features of this, I wouldn't do it. But at the same time, it's like, if you can find one on sale and get a decent $200 or $250 webcam out of the ordeal, remember the stabilization. So if you have this set up and you bump your desk or whatever, you're never going to see that movement on it. Where a cell phone, you're going to. My ZBE10, you're going to. You're going to see some of those bumps and rough rides depending on what you're doing. But if you're just using it as a stationary, you're fine. Again, ZBE10, somewhere in this right here, even go up to the ZBE10 Mark II, which is their newest one, which is like $150 more than the ZBE10. It has a little bit more stabilization features in it, and I think it goes 4K 120 instead of 4K 30, or it might be 4K 60. But they upped the ante on the refresh rate of the ZBE10 Mark II. But again, a lot of my videos though, same thing with like the microphone you hear me on, this Mayano or my Fifine microphones, I'm out here to try to find the best bang for your buck for people who are starting out, not for people who already have a bunch of stuff. Remember, even down to the DJI, I don't have to have this mic right here. Now, using this as a webcam, now you can go grab you the DJI Mini 3, which is like $25 right now for the microphone, and it auto pairs to it. You put it right here on your shirt and you're good to go. I don't have the Mini 3, I have the Mic 2s. So I just like the bigger mics, the bigger setups, other features that are in it, the record features and things in my mic. But you can literally have you a decent streaming setup, even if you have an action camera. I imagine GoPro has a feature for it. I imagine Insta360 for their Insta360 cameras have something for it. But my 100%, my recommendation would be something like the AOC right here that I just showed, or a cell phone. Try not to use your cell phone because you're putting more wear and tear on your cell phone. If you just have an older phone, you're not worried about getting that 4K and you're good with 1080p, an old Apple phone. I have an Apple phone over there. It's just completely dead and I need to charge it. But again, getting an older phone and getting it connected and going through a capture card, that'd be the only other caveat, is going through a capture card. You need a really good capture card. But if you're only getting 1080p, you can pick up 1080p capture cards all day long for 20 or 30 bucks. And if you found you a cell phone online for 50, 60 bucks, then boom, there you go. You have it. Just make sure that it has a decent camera on it, you know? And that's one reason whenever I got my S24 Ultra, I didn't trade this one in. I'm hoping whenever the S26 comes out here in February, I'll be trading this one in on that one. And then my S24 will be my new overhead camera because the cameras are a lot better in that S24, but I'm ready for that S26. So don't forget to like and subscribe because that will be coming up as well. I got quite a few things. There's some stacks over here. I got stacks over here. I mean, you can see some in the video back here. I got a lot of products that are coming out to make sure what's worth your money, especially here we are. We're in 2026. Where did 2025 go? Nobody knows. But I'm Thomas with Tomology. I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out right here. See if this one right here is going to be worth your money here in 2026.